drug behind a car for just about a mile, and then ran over with the same car several more times in the middle of the night, right in front of his house. This is the story of Erik Cross.
Can't turn the tide, let the water go where it wants to go.
So in 1983, Erik Cross is 16 years old. He lives in Vicksburg, Michigan, which is where we are right now. Population 4,000. Erik was new to the city. They just moved here about a year before that. And he lived with his dad, Ted, his mom, Mary Lou, and his sister, Jackie. First friend he made was Bill Cook. Bill Cook was known to the community as a drug dealer, and he also was dating the sister of the suspect of this heinous crime. Now, that sister has since died. She passed away at the age of 31 due to cancer. But a few months before Erik was killed, he started hanging out with some less desirable folks in the community here. He kind of started hanging out with the wrong crowd. He's going to parties, was trying to talk to girls, things like that. Wanted to fit in, wanted to be part of the cool kids. Then come the night of June 25th, 1983, Erik goes to a party with his best friend, Bill Cook. And he told his parents that he was going to Bill's house to spend the night because him, his dad, and Bill had plans the very next morning. Only Erik goes to this party only about a mile away from his house. And that's the last time his parents see him. This right here would have been where Erik was that night, where the big party was. Now, we're not going to go down there because this is a private drive and we do not want to trespass. But this is the lake house, or the entrance to the lake house where Erik would have been that night, right here on the corner. And this road right here will take you right down to where the carryout was, where he was spotted. So he would have stumbled about 0.7 miles to the next corner where he was seen by people and where those two cars were. From there, it's a mystery.
You know, it was only a couple days after Erik was murdered that we knew it was murder. And yet, for some reason, these people were allowed to get away with murder. And that should not happen in the United States of America.
So right here at this stop sign is 0.7 miles past the party house. So this right here on the corner is now known as Erik's Corner. But back then, it would have been the party store. And that's where Erik was spotted stumbling home. He just had another 0.4 of a mile to go down in this direction to get home. This right here is Erik's Corner, dedicated to Erik Cross. This is where the store and gas station used to be back in 1983. Now, at that time, there were also two cars parked right here in the store parking lot. And folks believe that these are the two cars that were responsible for Erik's death. To this day, nobody's really even sure if Erik made it home or not that night. Some think he made it home and was abducted at home. Others think he was taken right here at this very intersection. Now, keep in mind, Erik was highly intoxicated. He was seen stumbling, so he may not have known any better than to get in the car with somebody that may have wanted to hurt him. So Erik's walking right down here where I'm walking right now. This right here would have been the store. This is where he was spotted staggering. He's walking Nobody knows if he made it past this point or not. Everything's real hazy regarding that. There's people that know. It's just that they're not talking. And now his house is that fourth one down there on the left, and his body would have been found in the road directly in front of it. Now, the house he was coming from was only less than a half a mile down that road right there. This was a beachfront property. A kegger was being thrown by a classmate, and the entire area knew about it. It was $2, all you can drink beer. They had numerous kegs. This was the party of the year. All Erik wanted to do was go and meet friends and meet girls. Now, he had been bullied for a while by a guy named Brenton Spalding. Brett was known as the town bully and kind of the wild child. He was the one that was always getting in trouble. He liked to drink. Apparently, his girlfriend, Amber, would tend to flirt with other guys too, which made Brett extremely jealous. And Brett had a very, very bad temper. It was also said that Amber was flirting with Erik this night, and people believe she was trying to set him up for whatever happened. Once Brent showed up to this party, the mood changed completely. Apparently there was some type of altercation between him and Erik. Nobody knows for sure. Well, they do, they're just not talking about it. But it's been said that whoever did this drug Erik from their car, either from the party house down this way or from the end of this road, which is about another half mile down. They drug him in the road and then put him in a trunk and didn't know what to do. They got scared. So they brought him down here, put him in the street in front of his house, and ran him over with the car a few more times to make it look like a hit and run. Now, when Erik's body was found, he was in very, very bad shape. I can't really say here on YouTube the extent of his injuries, nor do I really want to. Let's just say it was extreme, very extreme, his condition. His dad came out the next morning, saw his son's shoe in the street, and then looked a little bit further, and then eventually saw Erik laying in the street. This right here is where Erik's body would have been found. His head would have been down this way, and his feet would have been right about there. And this is how far he was from the corner, how close he was rather. And this was his house that he was coming home to that night. Now, some folks believe that Erik was taken down here to this bridge up here, and this is where they put him in the trunk. They think he was dragged down to this location right here and then put in the trunk. And then they believe whoever did this panicked and then went back to the house, got him out, laid him in the street in front of his house, and then ran him over a few times to make it look like it was an accident. Suspicions as to who did this came right after it happened. There was, the community had a really good idea who did this, and that person, along with a group of 4 others who were at the party, have all been named suspects by the community and by the police. That would be Brent Spalding, his girlfriend at the time, Bill Cook, and 2 others. Now, these 5 have been named public suspects by the police. Police believed that they had enough evidence for convictions, but apparently the prosecutor here in the county did not believe so. He did not want to move forward with the case unless he was guaranteed a conviction.
It's been more than 34 years. They had their suspect in 1983 identified the main suspect and the other conspirators, and for whatever reason they dropped the case. They interviewed him, his parents put him in a mental institution to protect him, and then that made the police give up. I was like, okay, so that made sense to me for a while, but then now as an adult, I think that makes no sense. Like, you can't just go to a mental hospital to get out of murder and then they just drop it. That doesn't make sense at all.
They will eventually talk. I think the conditions have to be right for that. Each one's lives have gone a different direction. The things that you don't talk about when you're 16, 17, now that you're 50 years old, those loyalties and those reasons are gone. A lot of them were afraid of Brent Spalding at the time. They thought they would probably be next, or he was just going to be a bully with them, so they didn't want to have anything to do with it. Well, if you see Brent Spalding now, it's hard to be afraid of him. He's not really able to pull that off very well anymore. But now their lives have gone on and they've got a lot to lose. We look at one witness in particular, one of the suspects who has a tremendous amount to lose, who probably should have accepted the olive branch.
Currently at the Vicksburg Cemetery here in Michigan, where are we? Southwest Michigan, I believe. Vicksburg, Michigan, small town. Looking for the grave of Erik Cross, who was a 16-year-old boy who went to a party of a classmates back in 1983 and got ditched by his friend and then left extremely intoxicated, stumbled home, and that's the last that anybody knows of what happened to him. Well, not anybody, but the general public. There's people that know what happened, but they're just not talking. So it's believed that Erik was drugged behind a car for half of a mile to a mile, and then placed in a trunk, and then taken to his home, dumped in the road, and then ran over a few times to make it look like an accident. And actually, here he is right here. I walked right past him. Right here, Erik Sterling Cross. Let me clear this off a little bit so we can see. There he is. Erik Sterling Cross, September 25th, 1966 to June 26th, 1983. So here we are, years later, and there's no arrest. The police believe they know who did it. So do many other people. Erik's army knows who did this. But from what I've been told and read, the prosecutor did not want to put the case through, did not believe there was enough evidence. So this here actually is his parents, which we'll clear them off too. So this is Ted, his dad. Ted is the one who found him in the road. And poor Ted, he died with a broken heart. He never found out who murdered his son. And Mary Lou, his mom, she's still with us here, as is Erik's sister Jackie. She's with us, has her own beautiful family. But yeah, this is his parents here, and this is Erik's grave right here. And a very beautiful, off the beaten path, quiet cemetery. Very, very peaceful. It's very rural out here. I don't think there's a house anywhere near where I'm at. And all you hear is the wind whistling through the trees. Very peaceful. So there's not much more I can say about the suspects in this case. I can't speculate. All I can do is tell you what the authorities say and what the community and what Erik's army believes happened. No arrests have been made in this case. So rest in peace to you, Erik. I will be following your journey on Facebook, which I'll put a link in the comments for anybody who would like to support Erik's army. There are some wonderful people that are fighting for justice for Erik, fighting daily. It's their job. They're fighting just for Erik because he deserves this for sure. He did not deserve what happened to him, but he deserves justice. That's for damn sure. So rest in paradise, Erik. It was nice to finally get up here and come pay my respects. So the Silent Five, as they're referred to, they've basically put up this wall, and none of them, the five that everybody believe are involved, they are not saying a word. From what I heard and seen, one of these people was offered full immunity to tell the story because they were there that night, and this person turned that offer down and would not say anything. Full immunity. But this person chose not to say anything. That could have closed the case. There could have been justice. Erik's mom would have had justice. His friends, his sister, everybody. But no, that person did not talk. So if you know anything about this case, this happened in Vicksburg, Michigan. It's kind of a southwestern small town in Michigan. If you know anything about this, message Erik's army or justice for Erik Sterling Cross. That's E-R-I-K, Sterling, S-T-I-R-L-I-N-G, Cross, C-R-O-S-S. I'll put a link in the comments. Join his page if you have any info or want to support finding out who did this to him in 1983. Please join that page. Thank you for watching. Please comment. Well wishes for the family. Or if you know anything about this, or if you've heard of this case, or lived in the area, leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. We'll see you next time.